Blog Talk Radio.
And it's Ken Kreitzer from CBSI Services with another edition of CBSI Talking Business. And CBSI, located in Harrison, New York, has served the credit card and payments industry for over 40 years, and with a variety of benefits in the travel, warranty, and premium service field. And we have a great team of managers managing customer service on programs for over 1,000 banks around the country. Now, we are very pleased to have back a friend we met through Joe Connolly of WCBS Radio, and that is Kevin O'Connor, who's the president and CEO of Long Island-based BNB Bank. Kevin, how are you today?
Very good. Yourself?
Good. We're just in awe of the work of healthcare providers all across the metropolitan area, the doctors, nurses, and all the assistance from the military that the area has received, and it's just been our hats and our applause to them for all the great work they're doing, taking care of people right now. How do you see that on Long Island?
You can't thank those heroes enough. It's nice to see the recognition they're getting, and the community's reaching out and thanking them. And we always say, a lot of times when people are feeling stressed in my industry, you worry about things. And I always say we're not saving lives. We're moving numbers on pieces of paper. Those people are really saving lives, and so you can't thank them enough and the heroic efforts they're undertaking.
Absolutely. Now you're out in Bridgehampton, New York. With tell our audience just a little quick summary of the scope of your bank.
We are a real community bank. We cut across Long Island. The legacy franchise is really on the east end of the island, but we really go from Montauk to Manhattan today. I have 40 branches and a little less than $5 billion in size, and we serve all the small and mid-sized businesses and even some larger ones on Long Island and into the boroughs. So, we are very much part of the fabric of the community, and it's what's important today. Operating out of 40 locations, we're still open every day. Our branches have, basically limited lobby hours, but there's drive-ups in many of them, and we're providing a little sense of normalcy in what is otherwise a surreal, abnormal time.
Absolutely. Well, I think that was my first question for you is how do you keep operations going, working remotely in some cases, you say keeping 40 branches available to serve the public and your operations centers. What's it take to keep the organization functioning during this crisis period?
Creativity. I would say that. I think that obviously branches have to be open, so you've got to keep them staffed. We're trying to do everything we can to make it safe for people. I mean, somebody actually invented a sneeze guard for branches, and so we have those, in our desk, around our desks and our teller counters. But there is still activity and transactions ongoing in the branch, so you need to do that. We have about 250 people that work out of our facility in Hopog, which is really our main operations facility, and we're down to probably about 20 of us that show up every day, and the rest of the people working remote. We ran out and had to go buy every laptop we possibly could. At some point in time, we had a good bit of them, but we didn't have enough for every one of our employees. And so, our IT people created a factory of converting, recently bought laptops into functioning machines that people can work at home. And so we've got a chunk of our workforce working from home, making loans, accepting payments, doing all the things a bank needs to do to keep the payment processes working.
Well, that's so important. Now, we've been working with a number of organizations that are trying to take care of small businesses so hard hit, especially the retail businesses in shopping malls and restaurants. How are you able to help and support? Let's talk first about your business customers on Long Island.
Well, I will say, we recognized early on this was going to be an issue, and we created what we called our relief loan. We created this very quick turnaround $50,000 loan that we did probably 100 of them to get out to people right away, and that was done. Was no interest for 90 days, and that got. And in many cases, it was a safety net. People haven't drawn on them, but they have that money there if they needed it. And then obviously we jumped into we've gotten requests from both residential and commercial mortgage holders for moratoriums, 90-day moratoriums, and we've acknowledged those. And most recently, as part of the CARES Act, there is this payment protection, payroll protection loan that's out there.
Right.
And so when that got passed on March 27th, we began to field calls right away. Now, the program had not been formalized what it was going to mean, but at a certain point in time, we had 2,000 businesses on a list that were interested in this loan, which is it's a loan that's we guaranteed by the SBA, and if the money's spent to keep people on your payroll, it would be forgiven. And so we took that program and built around what we thought were going to be the guidelines from the SBA, and very quickly converted those 2,000 people into some form of an application. And trying to work through a government program is always a challenge, just because the rules change along the way as they sort of build it out. But we took the approach that we were going to be very aggressive and anticipate what things might be, and it's worked out well for us from the standpoint that these loans represent jobs, and so we probably will, at the end of the day, on a $5 billion bank, make about 600 million of these loans. We have, as I said, 2,000 in various stages of process. Yesterday, we delivered the first checks, if you will, to people, so there's money in their hands. And by the end of next week, more than half of that money will be in customers' hands. And if you convert $600 million into what it means in the number of jobs, depending on what you think average salary is, it's somewhere between 30 and 40,000 jobs that will hopefully be saved in our marketplace.
Well, that's terrific. So important to be able to do that. We watched the president the other day talking with banking leaders about what could be done, and also being able to support that program and trying to add to the funding of it. How is it to be able to create a template on the fly that can serve thousands of customers, and, as you say, accommodate $600 million in loans, and put it all together in a matter of days?
We have a great team here, and they did really rally as a team. There's so many of our employees that we're working, but we all know somebody who's not working. And so when you convert a mindset from we're not just processing a loan, we're helping and throw people a lifeline. If you've got a restaurant that's closed, and you may have multiple restaurants that are closed, you're seeing your life's work sort of ebb away. And so our employees really rallied around it. We created teams. So I've got, effectively 150 people of our organization are working on this project. And we created 10 teams. We named them after New York sport teams. We gave out hats. And we created a work environment where we are all working toward a common goal, which is to help our communities and our customers, our communities, our friends, our neighbors stay employed and support their families. This is a little, mom and apple pie right here. We recognize that, and I take what I'm reading, what I'm hearing on the news about community banks. I'll say it's one thing. In this case, being smaller might be easier because we could be nimble. Decisions about how to do this are made by just a handful of people, and willing to take some risks about. We sent out an application. I'll be honest with you, a week ago Thursday, that we thought was going to be the application, and we had people fill them out. Friday morning, the SBA came up with a new application. We had to go back to those people and say, we appreciate you did this, but can you do this? And so they did. And, it took, we all got on the phone. I spent a lot of my day on the phone talking to customers, trying to help them understand what's going on. And this is the great part of community banking, and I'm very gratified to see that we're getting some credit in this process for doing what we do every day.
Yes, the president had several community bank representatives, had one of the organizational trade groups at the briefing this week. Now, what else did you see in the $2 trillion act that was approved by Congress? They're actually thinking about going to now a fourth phase of that legislation. What are some of the other elements that you saw that you can work with in your organization, or consumers may want to make sure that they take a look at?
I'm in the middle of trying to decipher that, but honestly, I did see there were some loans to larger companies, because I know that this was limited to companies with 500 employees. So there are some companies that we would do business with that are excluded from the the product that was there today. So I think the effort and the creativity of the Fed of understanding that if they provide some kind of a backstop, that the commercial entities like banks will do the processing. I think I commented earlier on that the working with the government is a challenge, but we welcome that challenge because we're in the process of distributing money, lending money. It's what we do every day. We're doing it faster than we ever have, but this is what we're built to do. And so if you provide us the liquidity and sort of the backstop that they are, let us sort of get the money in the hands of people, right? It's better to keep an employee on somebody's payroll where they have all the information than to transfer that employee to an unemployment line or something like that where we're starting from zero. And so I am very happy, and we stand ready to use our capital on our balance sheet to support the communities we operate in.
Absolutely. Now, we saw the CEO of Visa, Al Kelly, made a presentation to the president this week. What are some of the areas that that you can advise consumers on what to do if they are struggling, if they have a lost job, as far as being a customer of a bank?
Communication is the best thing. I mean, we are, as I said, we have a big chunk of our workforce really working toward getting these loans processed, but we also have residential loans, commercial loans. We don't do a lot of car loans and things like that, but the suggestion I would make to all consumers is to pick up the phone and speak to the people that they owe money to and indicate what their situation is. And, I think all of us on this side of the phone are ready and willing and able to help. We've been directed to do that. I think, the investors in our organization recognize that this is a difficult time, so, we all worry about past due loans and things like that. I think today, if the communication comes out to say that I'm struggling with this, there's lots of programs to take your payments and defer them to the end of your loan. And so I think you're going to see lots more of that happen, but it's one of those things that has to be a two-way stream of communication. And I'd like to think that, a lot of the organizations that you represent are taking those phone calls and doing those things because this is the time that we're supposed to, as a country, sort of band together and assist each other.
Absolutely. And talking with Kevin O'Connor, who's the president and CEO of Long Island-based BNB Bank. And Kevin, are there any verticals that, in terms of restaurants, retail, that you tend to work with that you have any specific support programs to or ideas for? Because certainly retail.
We're somewhat broad-based. I mean, we operate in an economy that has, across the line from manufacturing, distribution, construction, as you said, restaurants. And so we touch all of those businesses. And we think about each of those businesses as an individual for the individuals who run them. And so for us, it is dialogue with our customers. It is understanding what their issues are and trying to tailor programs that work for them. And so, right now the payroll protection is really the flavor of the day. The next programs that have come out from the Fed, we will begin to look at those and see how we can implement those. Today specifically, I guess the Payroll Protection Act has been opened up to contractors, which we have a good group of them as our customers, and so we want to make sure that we're ready for that. We're trying to be very nimble and really focused on what we believe is our mission is to be the community bank in our marketplace that understands what it is to be part of the community.
Yes, and one thing I've read is that it was easier for banks if you already have an existing business relationship. Is there an opportunity for new prospects, new customers to come in contact you?
Yes, we have been. In our marketplace, there's been a number of sort of fits and starts. Some of the larger banks, because I understand, as I said, it's easier when you're smaller to be nimble. Some of the larger banks did not really engage in the program early on, and so we have been fielding calls. We work with, a lot of our business comes through accountants and lawyers. They refer their customers to us, and so we have wound up, if we're doing one customer for an accountant, and we're successful, and his other customers are not getting that satisfaction from other banks, so we have actually been doing some new business, if you will. Now, people are opening accounts, so when you open accounts, there's a process to go through, but we sort of streamline that, and so this has been an opportunity to add business that we have been trying to book for a long time. So we're using this as an opportunity.
Absolutely. Now, your website has a lot of information, articles. Is that a good way for someone to learn about
Yes.
services that are available today?
Yes, it is, and I think there are some people to contact there too. And even if you just put the email in, we are watching that every moment.
Well, you folks sound incredibly responsive and nimble, as you say, to be able to adjust on the fly to this crisis, and as you said, make $600 million in loans available through the government program, and you've already delivered checks. That's a tremendous accomplishment. And do you have a final thought for us today?
Well, I guess I just want to, again, praise the heroic healthcare workers and have a moment to thank our team. They've really rallied together. They recognize that banking is hard. It's helping its community. And so I thank you for the opportunity to tell our story.
Very good. And this is Kevin O'Connor, CEO of BNB Bank, based on Long Island, describing your very quick response to the coronavirus crisis, and I hope we see you. We met through the WCBS 880 Business Breakfast Series on Long Island, which you folks have been a sponsor of, with our friend Joe Connolly, and we hope maybe by the fall we're back to normal and we have another one of those nice events.
We're all wishing for the same thing. Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. Kevin O'Connor, thank you so much for your time today. Best wishes, and really appreciation to your staff, what they're doing, representing the banking business and taking care of people on Long Island so well. You have a good day, and stay well.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely. Our pledges. Ken Kreitzer for CBSI Services Talking Business. CBSI based in Harrison, New York. It provides travel and warranty and premium service benefits to over 1,000 banks in the country, and a terrific customer service team based in Harrison, New York, working on all of our clients' projects around the country, and we're very proud of their efforts on that. Thanks again today to Kevin O'Connor, CEO of BNB Bank, and we'll have more episodes of CBSI Talking Business over the coming weeks, and describing how banking and marketing and educational communities are responding to the COVID virus. So for CBSI Services and Talking Business, have a good day. This is Ken Kreitzer from my home office, Plains, New York. Have a great day, everybody, and stay well.